Here. Hey, folks, one of the main things you can do to keep your family safe and healthy, frequently clean your carpets and other living surfaces. Zero Res came out to my house this year, and man, did they do a job. That house has never looked better, and I've been in it for 17 years. Now until Father's Day, Zero Res offering 25% off all cleaning services. I mean all their cleaning services. Call Zero Res at 287-5727, 287-5727. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
The Edge Group wants to buy your house right now. If you need to sell your house, get an all-cash offer and close in as little as 10 days. Don't waste another day letting your house sit on the market. Beat the rush, get your home sold, and get it sold for the most money. Put cash in your pocket right now. Whether it's old, new, in need of repairs, the Edge Group will buy your home, and it won't charge you a penny in commission. So don't wait. Right now is the best time to sell and protect your equity and future. Call the Edge Group right now and get an all-cash offer at 474-5851. No one helps more homeowners get more money than the Edge Group, so call them now at 474-5851. There is no obligation, no risk. Call the Edge Group today to see what your home is worth and get an all-cash offer today from the Edge Group at 474-5851. The Edge Group at Keller Williams Realty.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. Former Gators wide receiver Rashae Caldwell was shot and killed Saturday night in Tampa. One of his former teammates, Shannon Snell, was a guest of XL Primetime today and remembered his former teammate at the University of Florida.
There was nothing that he couldn't do athletically. Probably one of the best athletes I had seen live at that point in my life. So it was refreshing. Not to mention, man, he was one of those guys that was just always smiling. He was always happy-go-lucky. So to see this thing kind of happen, it really is sad that such a great guy was taken at such a young age.
Investigators are still working to gather more information on the murder of Rashae Caldwell. 87 degrees at 3:02. Your time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller. The Frangie Show is coming up right now.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in. Glad you're with us. Glad to have the band back together. Glad to be back in town. Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Andrew Gibson, and I'm Frank Frangie. Hope everybody had a good week. Gibby, you're the only one that had to work the whole week, right? You're the worker in the group.
That's right. My vacation's coming up in about a few weeks.
Well, you know what? And I hope you have a great one.
How was yours?
It was really good. We went to your neck of the woods, Gib. Went to Georgia. Went to a cabin. Hayes, I know you've done a lot of that. I'm the only one in the group that hasn't ever done that. Hey, Gibby's from that area. Both your parents, Hayes and Lauren, your parents have had cabins in North Carolina, so you guys have all done this life. We hadn't done it. Oh, man, what a good life. I've been missing out. It was great. It's a great getaway. We usually get on a plane and go to Cape Cod or Jackson Hole or Maine, or just because where it's really cool. But my wife isn't getting on a plane these days, so we said, let's drive somewhere. I didn't want to come back. The best sign of a vacation, I was telling Lauren this earlier. I love to go, but I'm also want to get back guy. We're always in a hurry, right? Want to go, got to get back. I want to go, want to get back. We got up there Saturday around 3, left Wednesday at noon. Dude, I want to come back. I even told Suzanne, why don't we stay one more day? We had other stuff going on. So great getaway. How about you? Have a good time?
Yeah, had a great time. Worked on our Celebrating 96 podcast a little bit here and there. So I had the opportunity to interview Steve Spurrier on Wednesday, so I can't wait for that to publish in a couple of weeks. That's Spurrier talking. We're going game by game, so that's Spurrier talking about the Tennessee game. The episode that is up now is the opener. Thursday's episode will be the second game That features longtime UF beat writer Mark Long. And then, yeah, week 3, we're going to have the old ball coach. I was really excited to get that done on vacation week. And, and then just sort of hung around, played with the kids, had a great time. And, it's good to be back. And, I'll be heading up to the mountains as well in a few weeks, and I can't wait.
Oh, it's so nice up there, isn't it? I tried to tell you before you went, Frank, that this will be one of the best vacations you've ever had.
You were dead on.
And I'm so glad I was right. I didn't want you to come back and be like, you talked it up, and it wasn't nearly as good. There's just something so incredibly restful about being up there, and I absolutely love it, so I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And I had fun here with Matt Hayes and James Coleman on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then thanks to Tony Smith for taking over Thursday and Friday. But, now glad to be back in the fold with y'all.
The thing about that is, so we have this cabin. I lost in pool because I scratched. It's the worst rule in sports. It's worse than the tuck rule. When you're dominating, when you've got 1 or 2 balls left and the other person has all their balls left, you scratch on the 8 ball. That should be. We should talk to the federal government about that. It's a bad rule. Who put that rule in? What do you think about that rule?
Well, the rule has gotten me way more than it has helped me.
Yeah.
There's nothing
that
sends my kids laughing more, and when we're playing pool and I scratch on the 8 ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible
bad rule. It's a bad rule. It's a bad part of America. Okay. It's an awful rule, and it's worse than I said one time the tuck rule is the worst rule in sports. This one's worse.
Who was more excited? You when Florida won that 1996 football national championship, or Suzanne when you scratched?
Close. Very close. It was very close. Because then we played air hockey, and I just dominated and talked trash. And we did the way they had this pool table set up. This is just a regular pool table. But then they had this other thing you can set it up as either a ping pong table and an air hockey table. I've not seen those before. They're pretty cool. Well, she didn't want to do ping
Save
pong.
space, which is great.
Yeah, I did her a favor, and you don't want to play me in ping pong. Okay, so I'm extremely good at ping pong. Okay, I'm really not very good at pool. Okay, I'm really not. So when it looked like I was tracking a victory, that was a big moment for me because I'm just not. Are you good at pool?
No.
Yeah, I'm just okay at pool. I'm just very.
I'm terrible.
Gibby, you good at pool?
No, I'm pretty good at air hockey though.
Yeah, me too now. And so, Suzanne's pretty good at air hockey. We've played before. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. That was a battle of titans. Okay. In the air hockey that I dominated, ping pong wouldn't have been fair. Pool was fair, and I lost because it's a stupid rule. And air hockey, where we're pretty evenly matched.
So did you have a view directly from the cabin?
From
your cabin, like the mountain house, did you have a view directly from there?
We did. It was not a great view because we were blocked a little bit by the trees.
Okay.
On the very top, it had 3 stories. On the very top level, you had a pretty good look, but it wasn't the best view ever. The view was just okay from the cabin. It was the nice thing though is we were about a block from this unbelievable lake where all the walking trails and hiking trails, and you go for one, and there's all these trails, and you're right across the street from where we are. So you go to one trail is just circles around the mountain. It's beautiful, and you can see a deer run by. The other trail on the same thing goes right by this big lake with all these boats down. The boats are in the cove down below, and Saturday and Sunday they were packed. And that was cool.
Lakes up there are fantastic because you don't have to be afraid of anything in the water.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's very nice.
And then the other walking trail is by this whitewater rapid that I took pictures of, and it's just gorgeous. The whole thing is gorgeous. So our view was okay, but it wasn't this majestic look over the mountains view. We didn't have one of those. So, but it was fantastic. We will go. I found one. If we may go, we have another vacation about a month. We found one that's in Ellijay. That's what you were telling me about, right, Gibby?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's one in Ellijay that I'm not sure if it's available, but it really looks over the white water, right over.
Oh, nice.
It literally looks right over the rocks, and so it's really cool. So, but we had a wonderful time. So you got out of town for a little bit, right?
We did, yeah. We went down to Sarasota to see our friends, hung out a little bit at Siesta Key, and went to the beach and tried to chase some waves, hurricane or tropical storm Cristobal, which Hayes swore to us no hurricanes. So I guess the tropical storm
I have not.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
I haven't lied.
Well, first of all, I'm done. I'm going to talk to you. I'm done with Hayes and the weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
The weather's been all his fault.
Yeah. Yesterday, when it started in the morning, by yesterday afternoon, nobody should say something about another person that I said about you yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay? No,
I understand.
Nobody should talk that way about another human being. So
I fully understand. It's gotten to the point where, like, when I look out the window and it's raining, I'm like, really? Like,
we need the sun.
Yeah.
I need you to do what we need the sun.
I'm going to be 96 in some retirement home remembering nothing except to be pissed at Hayes when it rains. Okay, that's all it's going to be.
I've got like mushrooms in my backyard. My backyard is gone in 1 month from it looks like a desert, and I am convinced all my grass is dead because it is so brown and disgusting.
To a swampland.
To now, literally, I mowed actually today, and it was all my mower kept. I do a push mower, and it was like stalling because the grass in 9 days since the last time I mowed it had gotten so lush and thick because all it's done for 9 days is pour.
Pretty amazing.
Thanks a lot.
I'll give
No
you.
problem.
Let me give you an example of how high the water is at our place. You guys know about because we did the show there for a long time. You guys have been there a bunch anyways. You guys both know my backyard area. We have the pool, and then it slopes down to where the fence is. The grass does, and then it slopes some more past the fence. So there's two slopes. There's one from the pool area to the fence, and then it continues up, right? The water's past the fence.
Oh, really? Wow.
Does that give you an idea?
It does.
The
water.
That's
like 5 feet
has
at
to
least.
be. Has
yeah,
to be.
wow.
The water in the lake is past the fence.
That's insane.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. And like our pond where we are, like it was so bad at the end of the drought that there was probably 6 feet of like sand that you saw. So you'd have the grass.
Right.
And then like it was so bad there was like 6 feet of sand. All that is filled in now. And you're starting to see the water level be a little bit higher than even before. So, yeah, we have definitely gotten a ton of rain. It'll be a while before I complain about it again, at least 4 or 5 days.
It better be a year.
We're glad you're with us. Well, I got the whole team back together. A lot of things to talk about. Obviously, we'll start with the world we're in right now. The Jags March, I thought, was so very well done, so peaceful yet poignant. Hayes and I had the opportunity to be part of it. We'll certainly weigh in on what that was like. We called in all the shows, and we're happy to do that. And I thought the guys on the shows did a wonderful job. But it'll be. I'll look forward to on our show talking about it. I know Hayes will as well. And in the whole Black Lives Matter world, I get it. If you're listening, part of it is you want to hear people's take on that. Part of it is you want to hear sports too. It's a sports show, and we certainly understand that. And part of the challenge in our job is to manage that balance, and it's a delicate balance. But hopefully we will. But we'll weigh in on that. Got a lot of things to get to. Andrew Nebhart gone from Florida. Sad news that Riche Caldwell, a terrific receiver at Florida, dead at the age of 41. I may touch on baseball, I may not. I don't really give a damn what they do anymore. I'm over them. NBA's coming back. Golf's coming back. A lot of things to talk about on the program.
Him.
So there's a lot of stuff to get to. But I do want to start with the world we're in now, all the reaction to the protests, all the reaction to what happened in Minneapolis and in Brunswick. Got a lot of thoughts on it. Really kind of when Hayes and I were gone, Lauren did a terrific job here with Matt Hayes and James Coleman for a while, and Tony did as well at the end of the week when Lauren left for a few days. But we haven't really, as a team, really weighed in on what the world has become since we were all together. So we'll certainly talk about that as well. That's how we'll start the show. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, if you want a bank you can trust, you want Center State Bank. Right now, you can go through the drive-thrus. 10 locations in town, and all those drive-thrus are open. And you can make an appointment and go into the bank as well if you want to make an appointment and see your favorite bank. The bottom line is this. In a very difficult time, in a difficult world, you want to be able to trust the person handling your money. And I certainly trust my friends at Center State Bank. You want a really good bank that's good at it, and a bank that believes in you. The best bank in town is my bank, Center State Bank.
Munoz became the first Bengals player to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
This is Anthony Munoz, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and you're listening to 1010XL Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Dr. Carlson has provided premium dental services to the Jacksonville area for over 30 years. Carlson Dental Group's priority is patient experience and satisfaction. Our biggest referrals are from our own patients. I've been one for more than 10 years. Carlson Dental Group also has the most innovative technology and equipment to give our patients the best dental results and long-lasting health. From dental cleaning to a complete smile makeover, Dr. Carlson and his team gives the highest quality dental care and most comfortable environment. Call today, 904-425-2300.
Peninsular Pest Control has served homes and businesses in Northeast Florida since 1954. This family-owned and operated business is continually recognized and awarded for outstanding customer service, receiving annual Super Service Awards from Angie's List and the Bold City's Best Award from Jacksonville.com. Schedule a free consultation by phone or online at CritterGetter.com. Remember, Peninsular is your Critter Getter.
Hello, I'm Renee Harrell. Clients are the best judge of our success. That's why we have hundreds of client thank yous on our website. If you've been in an accident, visit HeraldandHerald.com. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Offices, Jacksonville.
When it's summer in Northeast Florida, you need to know you can count on your cooling system. Cooler times will come, but fall is a long way off. You don't have to sweat it out. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. A small adjustment may be all you need. And Mike Merritt's Heating and Air is here to get your system in tip-top condition. If you do need something new, Mike Merritt offers a 10-year warranty on new systems. That gives you peace of mind you won't find anywhere else. Year in, year out, people wonder, what's Mike Merritt's secret? What can explain 30 years of excellence? The answer is simple. Mike Merritt is always ready to help and never an overtime charge. Merritt's techs work without commissions. They only do what you need. Merritt's cheerful staff is ready to help anytime. Call today. License number CAC 050384. On the web at merrittair.com.
1010XL has your Father's Day gift covered. From Mystic Cornhole, check. Woody's Barbecue, check. And Tobacco Cove, check. I guess that covers everything. Getting a gift for dear old dad is easy at 1010XL.com.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. So, at Geico, we'd like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves. Thanks for sharing your DIY haircut fails. Thanks for sharing your inner lip sync star. Now, it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. Because we're committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for more info and eligibility.
Welcome to Moe's! We are open, offering stress-free ordering and tamper-resistant packaging on all to-go, curbside, delivery, home meal kit, and drive-through orders. At Moe's, we're here for your family during these difficult times and taking every measure possible to ensure that your family stays safe while enjoying your favorite Moe's entrees you've grown to love. From the Moe's family to yours, thank you for your business. We'll get through this together. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay hungry, and welcome to Moe's.
It's been a challenging year, and exceptional people have risen to the occasion. Now's the time to recognize them. Know someone who's making an impact in our community? Nominate them to be this year's TIAA Bank Community Champion. Each winning nominee will receive a $1,000 donation towards their cause, and will share their story with the world. Visit TIAABank.com/community champion for details, terms, and conditions. The deadline to nominate is June 26th. Visit TIAABank.com/community champion.
If you're a man over 45, have frequent urination, an urgent need to go, a weak flow, or waking at night to urinate, it's time to consider UroLift. This is Dr. West, urologist with McKeever Clinic. UroLift is a non-invasive outpatient procedure with minimal downtime. If you suffer from an enlarged prostate and want to avoid the sexual side effects of medication and invasive surgery, UroLift may be for you. Contact McKeever Clinic at 355-6583. That's 355-6583.
If you're a dad or have a father who has some junk lying around the house, then call J-Dog. Now through Father's Day, we're offering all dads our veterans discount of 10%. Hi, I'm Don, a Marine Corps veteran from J-Dog Junk Removal. You heard me say it. We do the dirty work, getting rid of your appliances, couches, and other items you don't need. Call today, and we'll remove your junk at our veterans discount rate. Only now through Father's Day. 844-GET-JDOG or JDogJunkRemoval.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
So I plead that everyone out there would get out and they would demonstrate. They would do it peacefully. And to those people who are trying to detract from this movement, who are trying to add on and instill hate and riots, we won't let you hijack this moment. We won't let you do it.
Was that Chris Conley? Yeah. Chris Conley was so good. So good. And I'm glad he said about the hijacking the moments, because he's so right. I'm gonna make a bunch of comments here. I want everyone to go around the room, but I got a lot to say, and like all of us, I've waited a week to say it. I got a lot to say, so I'm gonna get out what I can, and I hope I say it right. But it's gonna be from the heart. There's 3 or 4 chapters of this book, right? number one, we said this before we went on vacation. How Chauvin wasn't already in jail was beyond me. It was hard to watch. He murdered that guy. And I think he's going to be convicted of murder. And I think the other three are going to be convicted of aiding and abetting. And I think they're going to be in jail for a long time. There's no black and white issue there. And when I say no black and white, I don't mean black people and white people. I mean there's no gray area. I mean, it's a black and white thing. It's cut and dry. There's no black and white. I guess there is. It's cut and dried. The two guys in Brunswick, I think, murdered that kid, and I think they're going to go to jail for a long time. I don't know if Georgia's got the death penalty or not. I don't know Minnesota does not. And I think those are heinous, bad people, and I'm glad they're going to jail. I am. They're bad people, and I really am. I don't believe all policemen are bad. And even though the two guys in Brunswick aren't policemen, one was an investigator. I don't like what this is cast on the concept of police. It bothers me because I know an awful lot of policemen who are good people, and I think police are our great defenders. I say this all the time. I've worked in sports for 40 years, but the hero in the world really isn't the guy that makes the last-second shot or hits the walk-off. The heroes in our world, and if it's corny, I'm sorry, but are the people that put on uniforms every day, whether that's a policeman or a fireman or a member of the military or our healthcare workers in this COVID, that go to work every day and know it could be their last, and tomorrow they put that uniform on again and do it again because that's who they are and it's what they do. I would hate a world without firemen and policemen and medical workers and military, and I'm glad we have them. And I hope we don't lose sight of how many good policemen there are out there, and because of the rogue ones that are out there as well. And if it's a culture that makes people act poorly, I hope we get that culture fixed. As for the protests, these peaceful protests have been okay. I don't mind them. I think people have said what's on their heart. They said what's on their soul, and I'll get to the Jaguars one in a minute. But I think it's been real. I think it's been, if you don't understand white privilege or don't believe it, and if you don't believe that there is, I hate that systemic racism has become such a catchphrase now that I hate catchphrases. But if you don't understand life is more difficult for a black in America than it is for a white person, then you're not paying attention. It is. And so if you don't like what's being said, that you're right, but it's not. I always talk about common sense. Common sense tells you it's a different world, and it is a different world. And I think the fact that people are saying, let's fix that as best we can is a really good thing. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. These are good people trying to share their heart. And we certainly saw it in that Jaguars march, which was so well done. The people that looted and stole and caught police cars on fire and attacked policemen and threw rocks through windows and destroyed the businesses of honest people are bad people. You're not anybody that does that, like Chris Conley just said, you're hijacking a very good cause because suddenly you think you have license. Just like the bad cop, because he wears that badge, has license to be a bad person. Well, you don't. You don't have that license. Well, neither does the looter, who all of a sudden, because some good, honest people are protesting, you don't have that right to do that. You don't. So they're bad people. But I think the protests have been poignant. I think they've been loud. I think they've been respectful, most of them. And now I think we've gotten the very respectful ones. The last thing I'm going to say in this one thought, I want to go around the room, is I want to get to the Colin Kaepernick thing, because I do think that was in play. And here's how I'm going to weigh in on Colin Kaepernick. None of my and I said this with Mike and Tony this morning, none of my fundamental feelings about that has changed, okay? I said at the time, and I will say it again, it is Colin's right to protest peacefully. It's the right of an American to protest peacefully, and I think that's what he was peaceful every time. And it's his right to protest peacefully, and I'll stand by that. I said it before, I'll say it again. But the criticism the NFL got for not signing him, well, the NFL can't sign him. They can hire him to do a job that's an NFL job, but the NFL doesn't have players. Teams have players. There's 32 teams in this league. They're individual businesses. And the owners of those businesses are charged with doing what's in the best interest of their specific business. That's their mission. That's their challenge. Frankly, it's their responsibility. And if an owner of a business, any business, feels like it's not in the best interest of that business to hire that employee, then that's the decision he's within his right to make. So I can't criticize the Chiefs or the Jags or the Jets or the Chargers for not hiring an employee if the head of that business believes that would be bad for business, meaning people wouldn't spend as much money with your business. So it's hard for me, and I said that at the time, I'm not going to back off that. So I felt at the time, and that's how I still feel. So fundamentally, my mind hasn't changed on all that. The one thing that has changed for me, and I will be honest, I was probably guilty of, no, I wasn't probably, I was guilty of when it happened. It was so polarizing. 2017, I think it was. It was so polarizing. So many people talked about it that I was probably guilty, not probably, I was guilty of focusing more on the act than what he was trying to say in the act. And to Colin Kaepernick's credit, and to the credit of many of those, I hope all of them, maybe some of them might have done it for the wrong reasons, he was trying to say we've got to do something to stop this. We've got to do something to stop rogue policemen from hurting and killing black Americans because they're black Americans. And I'm not sure I listened closely enough to that because the action was so flamboyant, so out there, so noticeable.
People thought of it as anti-military.
Correct. And it was looked at, and I don't know that I went that far, but I don't know. Again, I never condemned Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee, but I did find myself thinking, I thought more about the fact that Colin was on a knee when everybody else was standing than I did about the fact, forget the knee for a second, listen to what he's trying to say. And I didn't do a good enough job of that. And that's what all of this has made me do, is listen. It's not going to change what I do. I'm going to stand at attention with my right hand over my heart and my hat removed if I'm wearing one every time I hear the national anthem. That is my choice for me, and that's not going to change. And I will always respect someone's right to protest peacefully however they choose to do it. But in this one specific instance, I will do a better job of listening to why, because I get it more now than I did. So that's the one thing that my fundamental beliefs haven't changed on that. But what I hear and how I hear it may change a little bit. It's a tough world we're in right now. It's a difficult world. It's a difficult place we're in right now. But I do think people are listening. I do think at the end of the day, we've overthought it. We all want the same thing. Let's treat each other equally and let's treat each other compassionately. And hopefully if that's what comes out of this thing, that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, being there Friday and seeing the march and the unity that the Jaguars had, it was super inspiring. And, I think it's one of those things that, I thought Doug Marrone said it well. Josh Lambo said this well, and I'll sort of echo what they said. I can't really talk in detail about it because I haven't had these experiences. All that I can do is learn, listen, and understand. And I think there's a lot of people that are doing that now because of this movement. I think that's a healthy thing. What the Jaguars did on Friday, I think, is a moment that we'll talk about for as long as the Jaguars exist. I think it was that big of a day, I think, in franchise history, and I think it was incredibly well executed. I think the fact that they included JSO in it was brilliant, and JSO was great. Those officers, that spoke beforehand said, we're here to make sure you guys get there safely and get back safely, and we're going to be inconspicuous, but we want to make sure that you have a guide on this, and we support you in doing this. And then to hear Terry Robisky, the running backs coach, with a brilliant, emotional speech, to hear, Chris Conley's eloquent speech on the steps, it was, it was something that I'll never forget. I don't think anybody there will ever forget. And so, just looking locally, that was remarkable to witness. I think in regards to Kaepernick, it all comes back. I think a couple things derailed him in 2017. One was he was, and I don't know that he would admit this, but he was sort of clumsy at the beginning. The socks with the pig cops and shirts that supported Fidel Castro. I mean, there were some things that probably, if he could do again, maybe he would. Fair point. Maybe that hurt the momentum. And I think it stopped there being enough players that were really willing to support him by kneeling. There was a few, But there weren't that many. Now I'll be surprised when the Colts come in on September 13th and around the league in the Thursday night opener. I'll be surprised if you don't see the majority of players kneeling.
Sure.
Now.
That seems to be the conventional thinking.
And so if you're an owner that is worried, well, if I sign Colin Kaepernick, he's going to kneel, well, I think everybody's going to kneel. So, that sort of goes out the window. And again, if you're talking just strictly from a football perspective, yes, Colin Kaepernick hasn't played football in 3 years, but he's 32 years old, so certainly there's no – that wouldn't be a disqualifier. He'd be in the prime of his career. And, he's 6'4", 225, mobile. All that checks the boxes. And he's thrown 72 touchdowns to 30 picks. It's hard. We know that 64 quarterbacks are going to be on rosters week 1. Every team's going to carry at least 2. Some will carry 3. But we know there'll be 64 jobs. And they'll probably end up being more like 75. But he's clearly one of the top 64 quarterbacks in the world. There's even not having played for 3 years. Now, it becomes a totally different argument if you're asking, well, what's he willing to sign for? Then you're having the same discussion you'd be having about a player like Cam Newton, who's got to figure out, am I holding out for starter money, or am I willing to take, the deal that, like Jameis took such a bargain deal to go play for the Saints. But a deal, comparable in that $6, $7, $8 million range for a good backup. Is he willing to do that? I have no idea on that. But from a football standpoint, he's clearly still has the merit of he should be on an NFL roster. So, I am interested in seeing if an owner now will reach out. And again, if they reach out, what is Colin Kaepernick really looking to get? Because I don't think if Cam Newton isn't a starter in this league, Colin Kaepernick is not a starter in this league. So I will be curious to see from a football standpoint, where does Colin Kaepernick believe his career is? I think he has a place in the NFL, but I don't know that he has a place as one of the 32 starters.
Yeah, I think I agree with you as far as when Colin started all of it, he didn't necessarily have an organized plan. He kind of got into it, and all of a sudden this momentum was created, but he didn't necessarily have the vision of what he wanted to do for everything that he was about to stand up for or kneel for. But the NFL had an opportunity in 2017 to have the conversation, to start the conversation that unfortunately now, 3 years later, we're having because of people dying, and especially on video. That is obviously what has escalated all of it to being something where it just goes from us having a conversation to us witnessing someone actually be murdered. So I think the NFL, and Roger Goodell admitted that. He said, we handled it poorly. So I think the NFL could have been at the forefront of all of this social injustice conversation when he did that, and they missed that opportunity. And I think the hard part about what happened in 2017 is it became a military issue and a political issue. And what we've fortunately gotten to at this point in time is it's not either of those things. It should not be either of those things. Yes, you can have the conversations about police officers getting more training. You can have the conversation about is kneeling anti the flag and anti your military. And you can have the political conversation all day. But I think at the end, what we've finally gotten to is it's a human thing. Dan Hicken had Mal Washington on last week, former tennis star, and he has the Mal Washington Foundation. And he told a story that completely struck me. He said, I've told my son, never keep your car registration in your glove box. Because if you get pulled over and an officer thinks you might be reaching for a gun, you will be in trouble because you are a black, child or youth. He said, always keep your registration in your visor. How many of us have had to have those conversations with younger people? None of us have. And then you hear a statistic like a black adolescent is 18 times more likely to be tried as an adult than a white adolescent. And it's like, all right, this conversation is well past due, and I'm glad we're finally starting to have it.
I will say this about that, and I think everything you said is correct. The NFL didn't jump on that opportunity in 2017, to your point. Neither did I. Neither did most of the people that I know. We have a forum. I got a microphone. I never thought to stop and take it that direction, and I'm not going to say that I did. So the NFL didn't, but I didn't either. And again, I never thought not to, right? But I got caught up in my mind, and I never thought disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the military. I never thought that. I just thought it seemed odd for me because I've stood up for that thing my all 60 years on the planet, or at the time all 58 years on the planet, right? So it wasn't just the NFL that didn't say, hey, wait a minute. Let's try and hear what he's really saying, right? It wasn't just the NFL. It was a lot of folks. And if there's one change that I do sense is happening, and again, I'm case in point, is I think people are listening more now. So I think that. We'll talk more. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Working from home?
Who are you people?
Shut up! Meet Jaguars today from 10 to noon. Weekdays with Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 1010XL.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a godly example. Every day, we're setting an example in our words and actions. And many times, we can act one way in one setting and then totally different in another setting. My encouragement for you is to not send out mixed messages. God is depending on you to set the example in people's lives. You don't know, but you may be the only Bible that someone ever sees today.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
For the best price and service when it comes to your waste hauling and collecting, look no further than the A-Team at All American Roll-Off and Recycling. Jet Prosser here, and let me tell you, you're not going to find an easier way to handle your project cleanups than calling in the A-Team at All American. A J.B. Coxwell company, All American Roll-Off and Recycling has brand new trucks and cans in all sizes to fit your project needs. No hidden fees. Count on the best price in town. When it comes to cleaning up when the job is done, go with the A-Team at All American Roll-Off and Recycling. Visit us at all-americanrolloff.com.
All year long you'll be singing our song. Stay cooler with Bueller. At the head of our class we make it happen fast. Stay cooler with Bueller. For heating and air we always play fair. We make the difference cause we really care. Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey Jacksonville, Safety Tom here with Remedy Staff. Concerned about keeping your family safe during these difficult times? We are as well. Wash your hands frequently. Self-monitor. If you have symptoms, self-isolate to keep friends, family, and coworkers safe. Need a doctor? Don't just show up. Give them a heads up. Call the COVID hotline for guidance at 1-866-779-6121. These are just a few quick safety tips from Remedy Staffing, keeping you, your family, friends, coworkers, and our healthcare workers safe in Jacksonville.
Where's the best place to fish this weekend?
You gotta know where the elusive beauties lie. You gotta know where to fish.
The Moe's Southwest Grill Fishing Forecast.
They're rare, brother.
With Captain Kevin Favor. Brought to you by Ring Power and Tire Outlet. Thursday nights at 8 on 1010XL AM.
This is Greg Huntington with Advanced Disposal. In these uncertain times, there's one thing you can be certain of. Advanced Disposal and companies like us are committed to continue to provide critical environmental services that you depend on. When you see your local garbage person collecting waste in your neighborhood or place of business, then give them a wave and a thumbs up. Through these challenging times, Advanced Disposal is still hiring drivers and essential staff throughout Northeast Florida. So please go to advanceddisposal.com/careers and join our team today. Be safe.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have all the experience and support you need if you or a loved one suffer a car accident, trucking accident, or any negligent bodily harm. Just call 904-HIT-BACK, and we'll help you get up and hit back.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie here for Orange Environmental Services, the superstars at taking care of your pest control and your lawn. They mow our lawn, they treat our lawn, and they're the best in the business at pest control with Centricon Termite Protection. They are the superstars. I trust them. You should too. 272-3284. The superstars at taking care of your pest control and your lawn are Orange Environmental. Call them today at 272-3284.
Are you sitting around the house or driving around in your car collecting stimulus money and unemployment? It's time to get back out there and get a job, man. High Flying Jacko here. Woody's Barbecue's now hiring in all positions, from dishwashers to managers. Business is good at Woody's Barbecue, and you can start all over right now. Call Woody's corporate office and find out more.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
Instant Keys delivers honest, professional locksmith service for lost, broken, or spare keys. Call Instant Keys at 722-1111. Get dealership-level service in just minutes at a fraction of the cost. That's 722-1111.
I'm Brian. I'm proud of my years of military service. When I was 58, doctors told me I had the heart of a 37-year-old man. They told me that after my transplant surgery, when that man's heart became mine. I needed that transplant because I smoked and got heart disease. If you're a smoker, here are some tips in case that happens to you. First, you have to quit smoking for good before you can even get on a transplant list. So quit now. And if you're like me before I had my transplant, you may need a new defibrillator put in your chest. If you do, ask if the surgeons will use the same incision line every time. That'll cut down on the number of scars you'll have. And never feel sorry for yourself. I don't. I only feel sorry for my family. And the family of that 37-year-old man.
Call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW or visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to quit your way. Developed by CDC.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Hey, welcome back. Glad you're along with us, along with Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, and Andrew Gibson. I'm Frank Frangie. We weighed in on our thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement, and I applaud what Chris Conley said. It's not a moment; it's a movement. What that means is, let's not forget in a week that we're all trying to listen and treat each other more respectfully. And I think it's and I like it. I like what he said. Let me speak on the Jaguar thing on Friday because Hayes talked about it. It was really cool. So. We get the alert on Thursday night that it's going to happen. They didn't want to publicize it and have everybody turn out because they didn't want it to be a grandstanding event. This was the players. And the way it came about is, and to Doug Marone's credit, he listened to a lot of players. He said players talked all during the week, and it wasn't about football. And when he could see the pain in his players' eyes and the pain in their heart, Doug's the one who said, we got to do something. And then he went in, and Marcus Pollard, who was fantastic. You know MP very well. You know him.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
You know Marcus. Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic guy. He's just he's funny. He's down to earth. He's real. He is as genuine a guy as you will ever see. Suzanne and I bumped into MP and his wife at Three Forks about a month or so ago and talked for a little bit. But we see MP on the road all the time. He's just a good guy. And I thought he was fantastic, real, very genuine. In emceeing the event. They met at the stadium. A member of the JSO spoke. MP spoke. I think that was it, wasn't it?
Mo Williams?
Mo spoke. Mo, who's the team former player and the team chaplain. He spoke and prayed. Yes, he did. And then we all walked, and we went from the stadium statue on the east side. We walked north to where the practice fields are, took a left, walked along the practice fields, that parking area along the practice fields, to where we got right before the baseball stadium, then took a left and walked on the side of the baseball stadium, where his right field is. So I guess we're heading back south now. Stayed on that straight line all the way to Bay Street, took a right, and then went down to the JSO. And I said this when I called in with Dan on our show, and then again with Mike and Tony today. I can't claim that we're part of it. We were there to cover it as members of the media. And Hayes, I don't know if you felt this way, but I did. Not far into that walk, you felt like part of it. You felt like you were embraced. You felt like you got it, and you were living it. You were living this this voicing yourself, and I know I felt that way. And as we walked down and listened, Chris Conley was fantastic. Terry Rubisky was fantastic. Ernest Wolford, I couldn't hear Ernest. Ernest spoke, but I don't know if he didn't have the mic close enough to his mouth. Did you notice that? I didn't hear it. Ernest is a wonderful guy who's now a member of the JSO, so I didn't hear him as clearly. I certainly heard Terry and certainly heard Chris Conley, who was just so good. That how important it was to Chris that this is don't come loot, don't come cause violence. That's not what we're doing here. We're not throwing stuff through windows. Stop. What we're doing is we're trying to say it's harder to be a black in America. It's harder. It just is. It's just harder. And we're asking you to understand that. And he's pointing to some of the children that were there and said, it's going to be harder for them unless we make a change, unless we look at each other differently. And so, I thought, Hayes, to your point about the walk, it was really well done. It was really well done. The best things in the world are done with humility, without grandstanding, without narcissism. We just want to respectfully tell you how we feel. And I don't care if it's somebody behind a podium. I don't care if it's somebody in a conversation at a bar. I don't care if it's two people who've had a disagreement. If people can have a conversation with each other and just here's respectfully how I feel. You don't have to agree with me. I get that. But I'm just asking you to listen to how I feel. And I thought that was the tone, didn't you? That was the tone. And Lauren, you weren't there, but you certainly follow it. You know everything that was said then. I thought the tone was, I just would ask that you respectfully listen to where I am on this. And one thing that this horrible tragedy that George Floyd went through and others before him is it's caused people to respectfully listen, me among them, maybe more than they would have before.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and I was glad that y'all were there to bring more attention to it because, like you said, the Jaguars didn't necessarily want to heavily promote it and have everyone there. And I know Leonard Fournette will also have a peaceful protest tomorrow morning downtown Jacksonville. Look, I think Chris Conley said it better than most people can, and it is time for everyone to actually take action. And it's time to listen, to understand, to learn more, but also to take action. And I thought he did a phenomenal job by basically saying, this is the time for us to come together as a nation, not to divide each other by, like you said, the looting and things like that.
The other thing, too, that I really appreciate about Friday is the genuineness of it. And what I mean by that is, like, Doug talked, once it was over and was great. And then, it was 15, 20 players. And someone suggested, because we were right in front of the statue of the Jaguar touchdown,
right?
And somebody suggested, "Hey, let's get the players for a photo," and they didn't want to do that. It wasn't about that sort of a PR optics. It was a real genuine hour and 10 minutes of demonstration of protest, and now that's the challenge now. Is Doug Marrone said, we have a platform and it's up to us to take advantage of the platform and take advantage of our platform as the NFL community, and that this is just a first step and this is a long battle, and now the challenge becomes, where does it go from here? And I'll be anxious to see what awaits us this week.
Yeah, and you mean from a football standpoint, I agree with you. And one final thought on this. We'll get to some sports, I promise, some other sports. Where does it go from here in terms of what's the next step? Keeping it as a movement, not a moment. But what can we all do? What can we all do specifically? And I think, I think everyone's going to have to. No one. That doesn't mean we have to raise your hand, and say, okay, I'm doing this. But I think to be introspective about that is important.
I know for me personally, I've never taken voting locally seriously. I voted for our presidential candidates, but I've never thought that long and hard about who to vote here in our community. And I think that matters a lot. I think, there's statistics out there about how many young people, for instance, don't vote. And it really does truly matter. And so I think to educate yourself on the issues and then to actually go and vote, I think that's one thing that maybe we've taken for granted a little bit.
Well said. I think you're right about that. I think we have. The last thing I'll add on this is, and I've met with kind of our walk-off team. We started walk-off charities because we wanted to give deserving and underserved areas, young people that live in underserved areas, a chance to play baseball. You've heard me say many times that in the 70s, 27% of Major League was African-American players. More recently, it's 7%. I'll say that again, 27% of Major League Baseball players were African-American in the 70s. Now it's 7%. That's an amazing decline because when you talk about white privilege means the suburban sports, lacrosse, soccer, golf, swimming, tennis, and baseball has become one of those suburban sports. And that's why one of the reasons we started it. Not just for inner city children, but children everywhere that couldn't afford to play baseball. It got expensive. And that was the whole point we started 3 years ago. We started a walk-off. Well, to that end, if white privilege is concerned, we can only affect that so much. But if part of white privilege is suburban sports, and one of the things we're doing with walk-off, and we have been doing, the children in our clinic are predominantly inner-city children that we bus to our clinics. But are we doing enough? Are we taking our clinics to the areas where underserved children live? And are we taking clinics to their parks? Are we taking clinics to their areas? Are we not only saying, hey, go play baseball if you want, but are we teaching the grown-ups in those areas how to teach baseball and how to start a league? And we'll provide the money to buy the uniforms and the gloves and the equipment, and do we teach you how to hire umpires and how to take care of the field? And again, it's just baseball. I don't want to pretend that baseball is a big deal in all of this. It's just baseball. But it is a element of this white privilege, right? And so if we do a little better job of that, and that's one of the things that our staff and our board and the people that we've talked about in the last week or two is how do we do a better job of that? So we'll see. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think that's the next step. If we can all mitigate a little bit of the white privilege, and what that means is just get everybody the same opportunities at everything, right? The same opportunities at everything. Chris Conley and some of the Jaguars talked about better education, better opportunity to be a business leader, better opportunities overall, right? Just better opportunities overall. And if we can help affect that and mitigate that, then that's what we should do. And that's kind of what we're going to try to do.
Two videos that I watched last week, I'm sure most people have seen them by now, but if you haven't, I highly recommend them to just help you kind of understand if maybe you don't. The first one is Marvin Wilson for the Seminoles of FSU. Obviously, he put out the video after there was kind of some going back and forth about what his coach said, Mike Norvell, what he didn't say. His video I thought was really good, and it's short. And then the other one, did you see the Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho?
I did not.
Okay, so it's about 10 minutes. I highly, highly recommend it. And it just helps understand some of the background. And one of the things Marvin Wilson said is, I want to, next year when I'm a millionaire, right, when he's drafted in the NFL, he can't wait to go back into some of these communities in Tallahassee because he's seen a lot of poverty in Tallahassee. Go back into those communities and say, look, you can become anything you want. You can become a doctor. You can become a lawyer. You can become a politician advocating for change. It doesn't always have to be that way.
Great point. Two things about the stuff that were really in the media. Mike Norvell spoke out of turn, but I don't think he intended to. I think what he probably meant was we have provided a forum for players to meet with us individually, but the way he worded it to Sean Reed was we've met with every player individually. And whether he was embellishing a little or whether he just misspoke, I don't think he meant to. But to his credit, he got with Marvin Wilson and said, I apologize. So, and the other thing, too, is I don't think Drew Brees is a racist. I think Drew Brees is a good man. But he needed to listen, too. I said the same thing about myself. He needed to listen. When he said, I still think it's disrespectful for people to take a knee, the reason he was attacked is people are saying, Drew, it's not disrespectful. It's we're trying to send a message. Colin was trying to send a message. And Drew Brees, to his credit, I don't think he did it just so he can get along with guys in the locker room. Drew Brees is one of the most accomplished football players in our lifetime. I don't think he did it so people wouldn't be mad at him. I think he retracted because he said, you know what? My bad. I didn't hear it. I focused on the act more and what the act meant to me more than what Colin Kaepernick was trying to say. And let's go around the table. I don't think Drew Brees is a racist. I think he's a good man that didn't hear properly and probably will now.
Yeah, I mean, I have no way of saying that. I mean, he's an excellent football player, one of the best. He's my son's favorite player.
Yeah.
I have
no
idea what Drew Brees is. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt in light of his apology and in light of how he's handled it since. And that's my hope because, I love watching Drew Brees as a football player. But, as we know, when you cover athletics, a lot of times you don't really know. You might love the player on the field.
Right.
You don't know necessarily what the player thinks or what's in their heart.
Yeah, I think Drew Brees was was referencing more what he felt like he should do. Yeah, I'm not going to kneel, but I'm going to always stand because that's what I believe I should do. The problem is he said it in an era now where the slightest thing you say that can be deemed anti this movement of Black Lives Matter, people are going to vilify you. And I don't think he and his wife and family should have gotten death threats. And I'm glad that he apologized. But I don't think that he was ever intending that comment about standing versus kneeling as anything that had anything to do with racism. The problem is, if you don't realize that those two things are now connected, then you still don't understand the problem.
Final thing to your point, Hayes. You made a good point. We cover them, but we don't really know what's in their hearts. That's true. But there's a lot of athletes I've covered that I got an opinion on what's in their hearts. I may be wrong.
Well, and what I'm saying about Brees is, like, I've literally never even been in the same room.
Me neither.
With Drew Brees.
Me neither.
Like, I haven't even covered
Me
Drew
neither.
Brees.
No.
So it's, I mean, it's just hard.
I'm just, my opinion, just based on what I see. I could be dead wrong, but I see some guys I see some guys in sports who I don't think are about the right things. I just that doesn't mean they're racist. They might be, but he's a guy that I think is. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but he's a guy that I think, by and large, I don't think Danny Werfel's a racist either. I don't think Charlie Ward's a racist either. I don't think Tim Tebow's they're guys that I think are about the right stuff. You know what I mean? I think Peyton Manning's about the right. Well, I think he's one of those guys. I think he's Charlie Ward, Danny Werfel, good Warwick Dunn, Tim Tebow, good person about the right stuff. And I could be wrong, but that's my opinion, despite what happened here. That's what I think. We'll take a break. When we get back, a lot of things to get to in the world of sports. I don't want to do it, Gibby, but I'm going to talk about baseball, all right? Baseball is next when we return. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Saluting the brave men and women who bravely salute our country. 1010XL. We salute you.
Come test drive a new Buick right now at Key Buick GMC, home of the $99 Encore lease, or receive 0% up to 72 months on most Buicks. That's 6 years at 0% interest. You can also save up to $9,250 on select Buick Envisions in stock, or $8,000 on select Buick Enclaves in stock. Key Buick GMC, where every new Buick and GMC comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit them today across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate, or go to KeyBuickGMC.com.
I don't know about you, but I need a haircut. I'm so glad that the Old School Barbershop is back open, ready for business, and ready for you. Walk-ins even accepted at the Old School Barbershop, although I would advise that you go ahead and make an appointment. With 3 locations around town and an awesome setup, the Old School Barbershop's going to take you back in time, to a time where you could get your hair cut. So visit the Old School Barbershop right now. Go ahead and make your plans for the next few days. Clean up that shaggy mess, and I'll see you. I will see you at the Old School Barbershop.
If you're a dad or have a father who has some junk lying around the house, then call J-Dog. Now through Father's Day, we're offering all dads our veterans discount of 10%. Hi, I'm Don, a Marine Corps veteran from J-Dog Junk Removal. You heard me say it. We do the dirty work, getting rid of your appliances, couches, and other items you don't need. Call today, and we'll remove your junk at our veterans discount rate. Only now through Father's Day. 844-GET-JDOG or JDogJunkRemoval.com.
Folks, it's the 25th anniversary for Renewal by Anderson, and they're offering an incredible sale. Frank Frangie here. Right now, get 25% off all windows and patio doors, plus no money down and no payments or interest for 12 months with approved credit. Your safety is a priority. So they do offer virtual consultations. Renewal by Anderson's windows are made from their own patented material, Fibrex. It has the strength of wood and the low maintenance of vinyl. They won't fade, flake, blister, or peel. Schedule your complimentary design consultation now to take advantage of the 25th anniversary savings. Restrictions apply and requires purchase of 3 or more windows or doors. This sale ends June 13th. Visit their brand new site, rbafla.com. That's rbafla.com for details. License number CGC 1527613.
I was on the go, it was time to eat. I said, baby, grab a Danny, cause there can't be beef. She got something else when it was time to choose. And after just one bite, I got that soggy sandwich blue. Should've known better, only Dandy will do. Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you. Yeah.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is back to normal business hours. In conjunction with Baptist Health, JOI and JOI Rehab are following the best practices to provide you and their employees with a safe environment, including patients and staff wearing masks and the ability to utilize their new virtual waiting room. JOI is still offering telehealth services if you prefer to do so. If you have questions before coming in for an appointment, please call JOI 2000. JOI, where the pros go.
Ackerman Urology has the latest options for improving men's health and vitality. Our board-certified urologists treat prostate disease and sexual health issues to ensure your confidence and wellness. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Now until Father's Day, Zero Res is offering 25% off all cleaning services. I mean, all their cleaning services. Call Zero Res today at 287-5727. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about commercial fence services. From automatic gates to security fence and railing, Superior Fence and Rail's professional team delivers with great communication, trained installers, and quality products. Trust your next commercial project with the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your commercial project today.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians has been around for 119 years. Being one of the oldest organizations has its charms, but the reason they've been around for so long is because they're constantly striving for excellence. Their trained technicians can handle any job and have proven their credibility over multiple generations. Local 234 members come from a wide range of backgrounds with one thing in common: getting the job done right. Local 234, make the right connection.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars, WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. Tragedy over the weekend in Tampa. Former Gators wide receiver Rashae Caldwell was shot and killed Saturday night in Tampa. Caldwell helped lead the Gators to an SEC championship in 2000 and then played 7 seasons in the NFL. One of his former Gator teammates, Shannon Snell, was a guest today of XL Primetime.
There was nothing that he couldn't do athletically. Probably one of the best athletes I had seen live at that point in my life. So it was refreshing. Not to mention, man, he was one of those guys that was just always smiling. He was always happy-go-lucky. So to see this thing kind of happen, it really is sad that such a great guy was taken at such a young age.
Investigators are still working to gather more information on the murder of Rashae Caldwell. 78 degrees at 4:02. Time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Good song. Nice job.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Andrew Gibson, and Lauren Brooks with you. With a little Led Zeppelin here on a Monday.
In Through the Outdoor album, Brooks.
Who taught you that?
The In Through the Outdoor? I actually had it in college.
Oh, okay. So it was not a Blaylock.
In fact, I don't know Zeppelin very well.
Or a Baloo thing.
I don't know Zeppelin very well. But we all had this album. In fact, the song right after it's called Hot Dog, which is like the most fun song they ever did. You a Zeppelin fan?
No, I mean I like this song, but I can't tell you the name of this song.
This is Fool of the Rain.
But I can't tell you the name of any Zeppelin song because I feel like none of them are named what, the chorus is how songs are normally
Black Dog
named.
never says Black Dog in it.
Right.
Yeah. This is Fool in the Rain, but it's from the In Through the Outdoor album, which is a really good album.
I get it now because it's raining. Good job, Gibby.
Of all my friends, I was probably the least into Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. A lot of same here. Just about everybody I knew that loved music, loved Zeppelin. It just wasn't my thing either.
Well, you said you weren't going to talk about baseball, but here we are. News came out that
I don't care. I could care less. I don't care what Hayes Garland says.
Proposed a 76-game
I've never lied. I'm a very honest person. I'm Abe Lincoln of radio. That's who I am. I would never tell a lie.
I can't wait until the first game, and you've got your iPad here, and the Pirates blow a 6-4 lead.
I throw it across the room. Throw it across the room. I pound it.
I can't wait until Lawrence
Have
says,
the Clemente
you
shirt
guys
on.
are up 5-1. This one's over. And then the opponent scores 6 to beat you.
Well,
that's what I can't wait for.
Last time I didn't speak to her for a month. You're telling me maybe longer this time when it happened? I am so, and I don't care. I don't care if they play.
So Major League Baseball
Hayes doesn't
proposes
believe me.
the
Hayes thinks I'm telling a fib. Is what he thinks.
Game
Thinks I'm
season.
I
fibbing.
think you believe it now.
Fibbing to America.
So I don't think you're necessarily lying, because it's not a lie if you believe it, and I think you believe what you're saying. But opening day, even if it's a 48-game season, you're going to be locked in.
I think he'll be locked in, but I think he'll be mad still. I think it'll take a little while to burn off the anger, because I don't think they're going to restart it until potentially August at this point in time. And he's going to have another 2 months of fuming about this issue. I don't know.
What I really think is when they play, of course, I'll watch and I'll be locked in. But it's comical how freaking stupid they are.
It's beyond
It's
belief.
comical how stupid they are. Gibby, and by the way, I'm still not convinced they're playing. Gibby, you've said how long you think they're playing. You still think so?
I do, because I think there's a piece of the March 26th agreement that says Rob Manfred can say we're playing X amount of games whether you guys like it or not, and that's based on they have to have some good faith negotiations, which they've had plenty, and he can say we're playing 50 games. Now the players can strike. That would be a worst case scenario. They strike and they don't play. I mean that's what you don't want to see. But I think Manfred, if they don't agree, he'll say 50 games. That's what we're doing.
Still think they're playing, Hayes?
I do.
Lauren, you still think you're with me on this?
Yeah.
I don't think they're playing,
especially after today. Bob Nightingale writes from USA Today Sports that the players feel like this is taking a step backwards. So we're not even going in the right direction.
This is everything. By the way, the owners have recommended 3 things. They're all the same. They are play 82 games with prorated change salaries, or more off the prorated, or play the 50 games with what we agreed to before, or play 72 with in between. It's all the same offer. The owners are paying the same amount of money in all 3 offers. This is who wrote it? Was it Rosenthal, Gibby, that wrote it? That it's like the bad divorce that you know's happening, and you're at the party, and the couple that can't get along is yelling at each other, and everybody else at the party is just saying, "Will you guys please stop or leave or right?" And isn't that what this is? Both parties, tough guy. Oh, I'm tough guy. I'm not gonna. I'm not giving in because I'm tough guy. I'm tough guy. I say which one. I'm tough guy. I mean, you've been in one of those tough guy arguments. They're awful. Nobody wins the tough guy. I'm tough guy. I'm not going to win. I'm tough guy. And they're both being, and it's comical to me. Someone asked me the other day, who do you think's more at fault? Well, I'm to the point now that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think I've blamed the players more than the owners, but I read this national media. It's right down the middle. And the media doesn't want to tick off the players because they got to go to them to get stuff, But it doesn't matter. Gibby, I don't agree with you. I don't think they're going to play. I don't think Manfred's going to play the 50 game. See, you say Manfred can make him play 50 games. I don't think he's going to say player strike. I don't sense that. Gibby, there's no indication that he's going to say player strike.
I don't think he wants to, that's for sure, but I think at the end of the day, if they don't play, it's obviously the worst case Armageddon scenario that everybody loses if they don't play.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't get the indication. I don't think he's strong enough. I think he's a soft commissioner, don't you?
Oh, I think he's a terrible commissioner.
Yeah, and I don't. Is he strong? Is he strong-willed enough to say we're playing 50 games, player strike? I don't think he's strong-willed enough to say. I don't think he's going to say that.
He's going to do what the owners want him to do because he works for the owners.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't sense that's where it's headed. I don't sense that it's headed. Player, we're opening up. We're getting the stadiums ready. We expect you to show up on June 18th for a 50 game. I don't sense that.
I think if it comes to that will happen because I think it allows Manfred and ownership to say, look, the history books are going to reflect that this was a strike. This was not a lockout this was a player strike. And I think that is, I think that's something that may not matter, but it could weigh to the players. I still think this will get done. I think, to me, I view this as two countries that have a nuclear arsenal that could wipe out the other. And they're arguing over whether an airplane went a quarter of a mile into the other one's airspace. Like, to me, the argument here is so stupid in light of everything else that is going on. And I know the players, want to say, hey, forget about, and the owners too, hey, forget about COVID. Well, you can't. You can't ignore why we're here. We're here because of a pandemic that no one saw coming. And the last thing that anybody wants to see on the sports landscape is you guys not having a season because you can't figure out the money of this. Like, to me, that doesn't – if this was a 10-year deal that they had to negotiate, that's a different story. That greatly affects a generation of players. This is literally an agreement for an abbreviated season, and then you move on. I still think, because, in my opinion, it is not a big enough issue, I do not see, in this case, two countries airing every nuclear warhead they have at each other, because I think that's what this is. I don't think what Gibby is saying is, is hyperbole. I think it is cataclysmic if they don't play. I think it is dropping a nuclear weapon on your sport. And will they still have their diehard fans? Sure. But I think they are going to lose so many casual fans. Not only that, they become a joke. They become a joke. They become a national disgrace. They become a national embarrassment. And there will be a lot of people hoping that no baseball players and no baseball owners make another dollar off of baseball for the rest of their lives. And that is tough animosity to come back from when you're already in a position prior to COVID where you're doing everything you can to make your game more appealing to the casual fan.
My friends' kids are now back playing baseball. Baseball games are going on in communities. Imagine having the conversation with a little kid. Like, I want to watch my favorite baseball player. Well, you can't. He's holding out because he doesn't feel like he's earning enough money. And the little kid's like, what? He gets to play baseball for a living and he doesn't feel like he earns enough to get to do this sport as his actual job, and the owners just profit off of that? Like, it doesn't even make sense in the mind of a young one.
This is the married couple that has one of them has the great uncle that just loves them as a couple, and they're 30. And the great uncle says, just stay together for 5 more years and give it a chance, and then you'll both inherit $20 million from me. But you got to hang together for the next 5 years and give it a chance.
Man, I wish I was in this marriage.
And you got to hang for, and I'm going to.
It's called long distance.
And you're both. If you stay in the marriage and give it a chance for 5 more years, you're both getting $20 million. And the husband and wife say, no, because she won't blah blah blah, because he won't blah blah blah. That's what this is.
Yeah,
you're giving up millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. No, I don't care. Not doing it. I don't care. Not doing it. I don't care. It's $20 million. I don't care. I don't do it.
She won't stop complaining.
And because of that, I don't care about the $20 million. That's it. He won't put the toilet seat down. She won't quit whining. But it's $20 million. I don't care. That's what this is. Here's my thought. Obviously, if you're a baseball fan, you want them to play. But what I have done is I've quit grinding on it. I was reading everything. I couldn't wait. I'd Google Rosenthal. I'd Google Olney. What's the update? What's the update? I'd get frustrated if I couldn't find an update. I need an update. What's the latest? Now I'm truly beyond that. They play. I'll be excited, but I'm convinced they're not going to now. I'm focusing on getting my athlons and reading college football.
Let me ask you this: why do I not know more MLB owners? And I follow the NFL extremely closely, but I feel like I've got a pretty good vibe on all 32 NFL owners. I don't know anything, particularly now that,
It's a great start.
I don't know any owners in baseball.
Let's get to Brett. It's a great question. I think there's an answer, but I love the question. Let's take a break. We'll answer it after. We'll stay on baseball for a moment or two. Also tell you about a fun thing that's coming up on Wednesday on the program. All that and more. Stay with us.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the Best Bet Card Rooms at Jacksonville and Orange Park.
There's little controversy between the PGA Tour and its players. Everyone, it seems, is chomping at the bit to return to the golf course. This week's top stars, with a few exceptions, will tee it up in Fort Worth. The tour has rearranged its schedule, losing only a few tournaments. It will look different. There will be no fans or chalets, for the time being at least. All of the players have competitive rust. Some have hardly picked up a club. Others have been beating balls on the driving range. That should make for an interesting tournament on one of the tour's oldest, most respected courses, Colonial. Scores should be low despite the long break. Colonial wasn't built for today's bombers. That means everyone in the field could win, even with the world's top 5 players signed up, plus Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, Matt Wolff, and Phil Mickelson. It promises to be exciting for us golf fans. Maybe you ought to check it out.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
When it's time to remodel your kitchen, I highly recommend my friends at the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center to view their extensive selection of Cambria quartz countertops. Lauren Brooks here, and that's exactly what I did. Cambria is American-made, durable, maintenance-free, stain-resistant, and just plain beautiful. Marble and granite are nice, but did you know that neither comes with a full lifetime warranty? The Kitchen and Flooring Design Center has friendly, experienced, and creative designers to help. Find the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown, or call them at 854-9985.
If you're a man over 45, have frequent urination, an urgent need to go, a weak flow, or waking at night to urinate, it's time to consider UroLift. This is Dr. West, urologist with McKeever Clinic. UroLift is a non-invasive outpatient procedure with minimal downtime. If you suffer from an enlarged prostate and want to avoid the sexual side effects of medication and invasive surgery, UroLift may be for you. Contact McKeever Clinic at 355-6583. That's 355-6583.
Tire Outlet is bringing the tires to you. Mike Dempsey here to tell you that Tire Outlet is now offering mobile service. No hassle, I mean quick same-day installation. They're the largest locally owned tire shop in town, so wherever you are, choose a time and location that's convenient for you. A Tire Outlet professional will bring the new tires out and install them. Call this number to make an appointment, 600-0089. For mobile tire installation, that's 600-0089. Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices, premium service.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On June 8, 2001, Shaquille O'Neal tied the NBA record for most block shots in an NBA Finals with 8 in a Game 2 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers.
Is the summer of 2020 the year you upgrade her diamond? After all we've been through this year, can you think of a better way to make 2020 a year she will always remember in a positive way? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our best ever selection of large, rare diamonds and our most aggressive finance offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. So you can upgrade her diamond and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest charges. And if you bought her original diamond from us, it's even better because we'll give you 110% of your original purchase price to be used towards the upgrade. So you can really go big. If your luxury travel had to be postponed this year, make the journey to Diamonds Direct and let her escape in our world of sparkle and romance. And take advantage of our special summer of 2020 financing offer. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for the Blue Crab Crab House. Yes, they are back up and they are running now, both indoors, outdoors dining. You can still call ahead, order, and pick up at 260-CRAB or 260-2722. Non-seafood items on there as well. You love seafood though. Oysters, crabs, shrimp, fish, you name it. Jointon Creek Road in San Jose, the one, the only. It's the Blue Crab Crab House. Doors open at 4:30.
PGA Golf staff at Hidden Hills Golf Club would like to wish all of our friends in the North Florida golf community the very best during these troubling times. We want to let you know that we are open and we are here for you. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com.
It's been a challenging year, and exceptional people have risen to the occasion. Now's the time to recognize them. Know someone who's making an impact in our community? Nominate them to be this year's TIAA Bank Community Champion. Each winning nominee will receive a $1,000 donation towards their cause and will share their story with the world. Visit TIAABank.com/Community Champion for details, terms, and conditions. The deadline to nominate is June 26th. Visit TIAABank.com/Community Champion.
Hey, this is Coach Driscoll from UNF Men's Basketball. Our athletic department uses Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for our student athletes. If you want your kids to be treated like the pros, we highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Swoop!
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Been feeling a little cooped up lately? Well, you should buy a boat. Want to get away from people for a while? You should buy a boat. Been dying to get back on the water? You should buy a boat. Want to finance up to 100% of a new boat and get 60 days of no payments? Then you should buy a boat. With the help of One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. For a limited time, you can also get a free entry into the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament with your boat loan. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Isn't it time you bought a boat?
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Welcome back to the Fran G Show. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Andrew Gibson, and Lauren Brooks with you. We are finally getting to take our show on the road. This Wednesday, we will be at Brucci's at Beach and Hodges. We cannot wait. It is our first show remote since the Players, and really the day before the Players was canceled and everything shut down. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Come and hang out with us. You know Brucci's always has the best pizza. They also have really good pasta and salads. And they have cold beer and delicious wine as well. So I cannot wait.
It's really going to be fun. Well, we're taking the show back out. So you're going to see us at a lot of different places. We're going to Strings in a couple weeks. We're going to go hang out with our friends at Bogey's out at Ponte Vedra a number of times, summer and fall. Look, it's been a hard go for a lot of folks, and we know that. And the world is slowly starting to come back. We're in different phases. We're going to do it from a social distancing standpoint. Our friend Buddy Gray and Ryan, who run Brucci's and own it over there, are certainly going to make sure it's safe. But come on out. We're going to have a putting contest. We're going to give away some cash prizes, some other prizes. And we're going to stick around afterwards a little bit, at least I am, and have a few beers and just come hang out with us. We want you to – we haven't seen you in a while. You know, I mean, we haven't seen – one of the things because we're in afternoons, and the noon show can do this too. It's harder for the morning guys, obviously. But – one of the things we're able to do is go hang out with you and get to know people and have people come by and say hello. We haven't seen anybody in a while, you know, from a show standpoint. So we're going to start. We really can't wait to get to Brucci's. It's the best pizza in town. It's located right there in Hodges, off of Beach and Hodges there, and it's a fantastic. We did the rush there for the longest time and had a blast and hanging out. Great pizza. This is their wing night too, by the way. So pizza and wings. Pizza, wings, and beer, that's all I got for you, Hayes. I don't know what else you need in the world.
That's all you need.
But so come see us Wednesday. We really can't wait to be out there. So come on. You asked a great question a minute ago. Why are baseball owners not more prominent? And that is a great point. And it does feel like, I mean, everybody knows Mark Cuban. Okay, he's the prominent basketball owner, among others. You know all the football owners, don't you? And I'm a baseball guy. Gibby, who are the most prominent baseball owners? Anybody jump to mind for you?
Well, I think some of the biggest markets in baseball, like New York, the Steinbrenner family.
Okay, there's the Steinbrenner family.
But which one now?
Yeah.
Well,
the only one left.
Hal. I mean, Hal is one of those guys.
Hank just passed away, right? Yeah, so the youngest brother.
John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox. The thing is, these owners are not present. They're not. You never see them hardly, unless the camera pans to their box in a game. You just don't. They don't speak.
Yeah.
Baseball owners don't speak unless they're George Steinbrenner.
And that's Hayes' point is why not, right? I think that's what you're asking is why not.
We need some George Steinbrenners.
Well, but that's
because they'd be playing baseball.
But I think baseball is such a business. It is such a mechanism, right? That owners stay behind the scenes, and maybe that's not such a good thing. Maybe we should have more spokespeople. Because when you ask the question, what I digested is, who are these spokespeople for baseball? Who are they? Football, it is the owners. It's Goodell, and it's a handful of players, but it's the owners who you know they're in charge, right? Basketball, in the Dolan family, everybody knows them. Certainly, everybody knows Mark Cuban. I get myself feeling like baseball doesn't have spokespeople. what I take from your question is, who's the voice? It almost seems like freaking Scott Boras is the voice, doesn't it?
It is, yeah.
And he shouldn't be, because all he cares about are Scott Boras doesn't care about the players. Scott Boras cares about his super mega rich players. He's got Blake Snell now. Scott Boras wouldn't have touched Blake Snell 5 years ago. Blake Snell, now he's got him because he's great, right? So baseball doesn't really have a loud voice. And I think that's very problematic. I really do. The other thing that came out of this whole baseball thing is this. Did you see where baseball has announced that if it plays, all the team broadcasts are going to be done from a monitor in the home city? Did you see that, Gibby?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Did you see it, Lauren?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because it makes me wonder what the NFL, and that's a league mandate. That's not a team decision.
And I thought the same thing about, like, for the Jaguars broadcast. Will the radio be on the road?
Well, when you saw the NFL's memo today, I saw it through Albert Breer's Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't think media is going to be a big part of this season,
yeah.
Unfortunately, at least as of now.
What did Albert Breer say?
Well, I mean, it was a memo from the NFL, and so it was like a 4, 5, 6-page document on basically their tiering everybody involved in the organization, and there's 3 different tiers. But it was clear as you read through it that this is, this was written with paramount safety in place. And so as I'm reading through it, obviously my eyes are trying to get to the part where it addresses how to handle your media. And it did say in-house media. So for the Jaguars, this would be, John Osher and J.P. Shadrick and guys like that do such a great job. They were tier 3. So tier 1 was like players and coaches and like strength and conditioning. Tier 2, even like the general manager, was tier 2, which I thought was really interesting. So
because I guess technically not
because he doesn't have to have
for the actual game,
the day-to-day face-to-face with tier 1. So it was really interesting seeing all of it laid out, and it did make me think as I read it that my thinking is that by the time we actually get there, it'll be better, and you won't maybe need as much of this to be as stringent as it is now. But I think as you want to go first with safety in mind and have to sort of peel back a little bit if the health report warrants it, as opposed to being lax and then having to ramp it up. So I understand that. But yeah, if nothing changes, if this memo that went out today is what we have throughout this upcoming season, I don't think we're going to see the Jaguars in person much.
I do think it'll change a lot. And by the way, let me weigh in on that before I get to this next story. This will be a league decision. I can tell you, we at the Jaguars on the Jaguar broadcast team want to be at the game, not because we get a trip to these great cities, which is part of it. But you can call the game better. I promise you, my buddy Greg Brown is not enjoying the fact that if the baseball does play, he's not leaving Pittsburgh. I can tell you that. There's the opportunity to be with the team. There's the opportunity to talk to the coaches that I know about what they might do. There's an opportunity to be down on the field beforehand and get the feel of the weather, to get the feel of how it feels, to go up to your starting quarterback and get an idea how he feels about the game plan, how you can just talk vibes. You can. I'm not saying you do interviews. You're around enough people that you get the vibe. You talk to the opposing play-by-play guy. What's the vibe of that team that day? You talk to various media members. You see the fans on the road and how jacked up that place is. There's no way to sense how excited that stadium is on TV. There's not. So you can definitely, our job on radio more than even TV, our job on radio is to paint the picture as best we can and to really take you to that game. That's our job, to take you so you have an understanding of how it feels, how it looks, how it breathes. Well, you can't do that if you're not there. Now, again, that won't be a Jaguars decision, I don't think. That will be an NFL decision. The NFL, Major League Baseball, didn't let the Braves and the Pirates and the Yankees and the Dodgers make that call. If they play, which I don't think they're going to, they made that call for them. I think that's the call that the NFL would make too, either way. So, but I do think it'll change. To that end, there's a gigantic story today in CNBC.com that's not getting enough attention. Did you see this story that says asymptomatic spread of coronavirus is, quote, very rare, according to the World Health Organization. Well, that's a gigantic story because the biggest fear, the reason all the businesses shut down, the reason the whole world shut down is the fear that there was a high chance you could catch this from somebody without symptoms. Well, now they're saying that's really very rare, that for you to catch it, it's got to be from a sick person, right? I mean, I'm reading the story. Asymptomatic spread, here's the headline, asymptomatic spread of coronavirus is, quote, very rare, according to the World Health Organization. Now, again, the CDC didn't report this, but isn't that a gigantic story? Isn't that the biggest fear, is that not that you're going to catch it from somebody that knows they have it, because the person that knows they have it isn't going to be around you. The biggest fear is you're going to catch it from the person without symptoms. Isn't that what we've all feared for months now?
It is. And I think it was good news a few weeks ago when it first came out that surfaces are not as likely to hold and therefore then pass on the virus as they originally thought. So that was good. Now we've made another gigantic step, and I think, Hayes, this is fantastic news, that you're not going to be a carrier walking around having no idea. You're really only a carrier if you are infected with symptoms, and therefore you certainly know that.
Right, and again, it would shrink the quarantine time, which has been 14 days. There would be no real reason for that. The only fear would be if you're in that much smaller window of you have contracted COVID, and the disease hasn't quite started to take an effect. That you are going to be sick from it. You're not going to be asymptomatic, but you're still in that window. And that's what maybe they know this. I don't know if they have a pretty good idea of, your exposure to your first symptom of really feeling ill, the window of time. But yeah, it's a big reason why, I haven't hugged my parents in 3 months, up until a couple weeks ago, because you felt like, well, I may be fine, but I may have it. And if I could transfer it. So if you're asymptomatic and you can't,
or it's very unlikely
or very rare, then that would
you can almost
would greatly minimize the challenge that, and again, it's presented quite a challenge, and I understand that. But moving forward, if this is true, then it makes, I think, where we go with COVID from here a much more pleasant situation.
And wouldn't it make the second wave, so to speak, that we've been worried about much less likely? If you have a fever, you don't go out. If you're sick, whatever, you don't go out. Well, then that limits the virus spreading at football games and things like that.
You would certainly think, wouldn't you? You would certainly think that would change it. We'll take a break. When we come back, the Gators lost a really good receiver, Riche Caldwell, dead at the age of 41. Foul play is expected or assumed now by the police. There's more to report coming. We'll talk about Riche Caldwell and other stuff in the college world after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's big on the NFL.
Are you serious?
He's big on the Jags.
It's huge for all of us.
He's just plain big.
He is a big one.
Mike Dempsey.
Oh, yes, sir. He's a very bad man indeed.
Jaguars Today, 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
100 pepperonis on a pizza? That's right. Lauren Brooks here for Donato's Pizza, now open, serving edge-to-edge toppings every time. How else would you get 100 pepperonis? Anytime you're heading out to the beaches, call 904 Donato's. They have an easy pickup drive-through window, plus they're always delivering to the surrounding area. Call it in 904 Donato's today, now open on Beach Boulevard near Taco Lou. Loaded edge-to-edge with toppings. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Nurses take extraordinary care of us during what is often the most difficult and trying times in one's life. We often take for granted the service and sacrifice of these first responders. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you are a nurse and currently face investigation or complaint under the Florida Nurse Practice Act, you are not alone. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
AC making noise? Not working like it used to?
Whether replacing or servicing your AC unit, you can count on Lloyd's Heating and Air. They have trustworthy technicians who are clean and reliable with top brands like Carrier. Turn to the experts. Large rebates and several financing options are available now, like 6 months or 12 months, same as cash, coupled with rebates on certain machines. Call today for details. Only at Lloyd's Heating and Air. Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
Peninsular Pest Control will tell you that fleas can enter your home on your pets, or even your own shoes. Treating them correctly and breaking their life cycle is the only way to control fleas both inside and outside in the yard. Call Peninsular today at 389-3491 for a free consultation, or go online to CritterGetter.com. Ask about the $30 discount on new services. Remember, Peninsular is your Critter Getter.
When it's summer in Northeast Florida, you need to know you can count on your cooling system. Cooler times will come, but fall is a long way off. You don't have to sweat it out. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. A small adjustment may be all you need. And Mike Merritt's Heating and Air is here to get your system in tip-top condition. If you do need something new, Mike Merritt offers a 10-year warranty on new systems. That gives you peace of mind you won't find anywhere else. Year in, year out, people wonder, what's Mike Merritt's secret? What can explain 30 years of excellence? The answer is simple. Mike Merritt is always ready to help and never an overtime charge. Merritt's techs work without commissions. They only do what you need. Merritt's cheerful staff is ready to help anytime. Call today. License number CAC 050384. On the web at merrittair.com.
My backyard is my backyard. I like a little privacy and creating my own spot. I've got the digs looking pretty good, and the first thing I did was put a privacy fence in the back, and for that, I called Duval Fence. They're good Jacksonville people, committed to quality service. If you need a fence for your home, a business, anything, just call Duval Fence at 260-4747. Give them an idea of what you're looking for, and they'll take care of the rest. Property fence, privacy fence, pool or pet fence. Get the design, look, and quality from Duval Fence. Call them today, 260-4747.
Hurry! Fenwick Home Services' best ever cooling and heating offer is on now through June 12th. Get a new AC and heating system now and get 0% interest and 0 payments for 12 months. An instant Fenwick discount of $500 and up to $1,600 rebate plus an up to 10-year warranty. Conditions apply. Don't wait. Call 660-0556 or visit FenwickHomeservices.com.
Mark Watson here, owner of Hardball Creative. These last few weeks have been nuts, but as Jacksonville starts to open back up, make sure your company is ready. From employee appreciation gifts to printed tents for curbside pickup to face masks with your company logo on them, remember Hardball does it all. Call us today at 9988-778 or online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
If you're a dad or have a father who has some junk lying around the house, then call J-Dog. Now through Father's Day, we're offering all dads our veterans discount of 10%. Hi, I'm Don, a Marine Corps veteran from J-Dog Junk Removal. You heard me say it. We do the dirty work, getting rid of your appliances, couches, and other items you don't need. Call today, and we'll remove your junk at our veterans discount rate. Only now through Father's Day. 844-GET-J-Dog or JDogJunkRemoval.com.
Brakes for less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. If there's a squeal in your wheel, come see the best. 733 Stop.
Brakes for less.
All we do
are brakes for less.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
First and goal, Brady. Touchdown. Riche Caldwell hauling it in. What a drive from Brady, who was perfect on all 6 passes. It's 6-0 New England.
Riche Caldwell caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady right there. Played in the league for 6 years. Really didn't impact the NFL very much. Well, what a terrific player he was at Florida. You guys know my position on this. I told Hicken this on the podcast today. I think the 2001 Florida Gator football team is the most underappreciated college team around here in a long, long time. Certainly the most underappreciated Florida team of all time. It is the greatest offense in the history of the school. In the 100 years they've been playing football, they've never averaged more yards per game, more points per game than that team. That was the best offense in the history of the school, even though it didn't win one of the national championships. You know they averaged more than 400 yards a game passing? Averaged.
That's crazy.
Rex Grossman threw for over 300 yards every game. The starting quarterback threw for over 300 every game. They averaged over 400 yards a game. It was the most prolific offense in Steve Spurrier's 12 great years. And I thought Grossman to Gaffney, Caldwell, and Taylor Jacobs was probably every bit as good as Werfel to Hilliard, Anthony, and Jacquez Green. I really believe it was the equivalent. Steve Spurrier said, Pat Dooley tweeted it, that he said it was about the same, and I would agree with him. So Riche is one of those three guys. That was an amazing time for Florida. I can still remember sitting in front of Rex Grossman when they were struggling in 2002 in Ron Zook's first year, and someone asking Rex, is it all? And Ed Zonbecker was calling the plays. He said, "Is it hard now with Coach Zonbecker calling the plays and Coach Spurrier not here calling the plays?" He said, "It's hard now because Jabbar and Riche are gone." That's what he said. He said that's what makes it hard. Taylor Jacobs was still there. He said it's hard because those two guys are gone. So. I'll remember Riche Caldwell as part of the threesome, part of that trio. I'll remember him really part of the duo with Jabbar Gaffney. I'll remember him as Bubba Caldwell's older brother. But I remember him as a the smoothness of Riche Caldwell is what probably stood out to me more than anything else.
He was an incredible player, incredibly underrated. Riche Caldwell had 10 touchdown catches in the first 9 games of the 2001 season. And against LSU, Auburn, and Georgia that year, he had a combined 335 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was a guy that every Saturday stepped up, no matter who the opponent was, and really produced. So probably one of the more underrated Gators, that we've seen. Tremendous player, and certainly it's a tragic loss.
It really is, and what's also tragic in all of it is all the trouble that he's been in and through over the last handful of years. I mean, I guess I've always thought if you go to prison and you serve your sentence for something that hopefully you're going to change after. And unfortunately with Riche, that's not exactly what happened. He's continued to be, in trouble with the law, and that's sad to me.
Yeah, and it's probably you wonder if it's connected. The police have pretty much said this is not random, which would indicate that in some ways it is a connection. So, and that's a sad thing. So we'll see. But he really was. Here's something I didn't realize, and I follow recruiting closely, but apparently not closely enough. Certainly by then I wasn't following recruiting very closely. I read a lot about Riche today and yesterday, and Scott Carter's story and other stories. I didn't realize that he was an all-world quarterback. He was a really good passer, not just a good runner, and wanted to go be the next Michael Vick. But for whatever reason, back then, in that day and age, in the mid-'90s, we act like it's the 20s, but in the mid-'90s, guys like that also got the opportunity to go play wide receiver at big schools, and he chose that. He could have been they say he was a center fielder in baseball. He was a really good baseball player, even played a little baseball for the Florida baseball team.
Wasn't he a pinch runner? Freshman year when he was redshirting.
He
for
was,
football.
but he's a really good player, a good center fielder. They thought he would have been a high draft pick in baseball if he wasn't a football player too. So, but here's what it made me think about. He was a really good athlete, could run, could catch, but was a good passer, just not a good enough passer to be the Florida quarterback back then. But the world's different now. Would the Lamar Jacksons of the world, if they came out when Riche Caldwell did, be forced to go play receiver? Because the world wasn't giving them a chance to play quarterback like the game does now. You know what I mean?
I think there's an excellent chance of it.
Makes you wonder, right? Doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had, a Hall of Fame executive, one of the best talent evaluators ever, Bill Polian, in that draft, say Lamar Jackson should be a receiver. This is a guy who is a league MVP. So, I mean, and I don't mean to criticize Pullian. He was giving his opinion, and like all of us, you're going to be wrong. But yeah, I think it absolutely speaks to that. There's still I think particularly in the late 90s, there was still very much the default of, okay, he's an adequate passer, but he's a sensational athlete. Let's put him at receiver. Whereas now I think you would, and again, Rashay was, I think, 6 feet, 210. Yeah. So certainly didn't have that. That's the other big thing is late 90s, 20 years ago, you really needed to have the height.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
And that's not, it's still important, but it's certainly been de-emphasized from where it was in Rashay Caldwell's days in college.
Yeah, and it would have been interesting to see, like you said, had he played baseball, how far would that have taken him? Would he have become a better professional baseball player than he ever was going to be a professional football player?
And they were both Caldwells were really good players. Both played baseball. Both played at Jefferson, and so anyway, Rashay Caldwell dead at the age of 41. Other news that came out of Gainesville while we were gone: Andrew Nebhard. Andrew Nebhard is going back to college basketball, but not to Florida. He's going to transfer out. Thoughts?
I'm excited about it, and I know that sounds weird, and I've explained it, obviously, in the week that, since it's happened, buddies, and they've been looked at me like I have, lobsters crawling out of my ears. Like, what do you mean you're excited? And,
Yum.
And I know, that would be the greatest problem to have ever. But
maybe your best one-word answer yet, Brooks. Just say no. Okay.
So, but I kind of am excited to see what Florida can be without him. He was a good player. I don't think he was a great player, and I absolutely buy into that. If he's your guy, you really can only play a very methodical pace, and I don't know that if you're Florida, that's what you should say. This is what we're going to do. He had, tremendous court vision for the Gators. He did hit some big shots. I think you would have liked to have seen the shooting be a little more consistent. But there were moments last year where it looked like if this team is going to hit its stride, Nebhardt's the one that's got to really take it there. So I know it's weird because I think he's a good player. And I will be really interested in seeing what he does at his next stop. But I think for Florida, I think they will be better because he left.
I have said a few times that his slow pace ended up hurting this team greatly because they were also slowed down with Kerry Blacksher Jr., and he doesn't play fast. So now you've got two guys that are kind of bringing that pace down. And when your team isn't necessarily shooting great, and you've got some young players and you're still working on chemistry, I think the slow pace really hurt them. I liked when Quez Glover was in there and handling the ball. That being said, I saw a report that said Memphis, Duke, Georgetown, Gonzaga, Oregon, UCLA, and USC are sending out feelers for Andrew Nebhard. So if that's true, and I don't know if it is, but if what's reported is true, then maybe what I saw was more something on Mike White, not necessarily something on Andrew Nebhard.
Well, I think you're both right. He's a good player. He's a darn good player. He's also a good kid. He's played every game. He started every game of his career there. He played hurt. There were times he walked off near halftime, looked like he wouldn't come back, and he came back and started the second half. He's a tough kid. He's a good teammate. He's a good guy. But you weren't going to win with him, it looked like. Do you know where he is on Florida's career assist list?
I do not. Can I guess?
Do you know? Did you listen to the podcast today? Have you listened to the podcast?
I have not listened to the podcast today.
You know where is he on Florida's career assist list?
I would say 4th.
Where would you say?
Oh, I would say 12th.
2nd. You know who's ahead of him?
Calathis?
The only guy ahead of him is Nick Calathis.
Really?
The only guy. Well,
it surprises me that Torian Green isn't ahead of him.
They're 1st and 2nd, and Calathis, they were the same guy. The reason they're so high is they dominate. And look, he's a wonderful player. I'm not dissing him, but they dominate the ball. Andrew Nebhard had the ball the whole time. Had the ball. So did Calathis. Both had their eye in the NBA. Both good. And Andrew's going to play in the NBA some. May not be a star. He'll play in the league. Calathis played a little bit in the league. He'll be like that. He'll make some money in the league at some point, I think. But they're the same guy. Neither athletic, neither explosive. Both average shooters. Great passers. See the floor well. Good guys. Tough guys. Play every game. But you didn't win in college basketball with that guy. That guy's not the guy you won with. You win with guys who play a little faster, share the ball a little bit more, make threes, play quick. And so know this. If Mike White didn't sort of feel that way too, Andrew Nebhard would be back in Gainesville. It was clear when they took the transfer kid from Michigan, whatever his name is, Castle or I don't know what the 6'11"
Colin
kid.
Castleton or something like that.
Castleton. When they took the 6'11" kid from Michigan, that told me that's 13 scholarships, by the way. That's assuming man comes back. You're at you only get 13. You don't take that kid unless A, you're pretty convinced that you're not going to have Nebhard, and if there's any usually if there's any chance a guy comes back, you leave that Scully open and you fight to get him back. That wasn't happening here. I think when Nebhard decided he was going to come back, I think he and Mike White sat down. I don't know this, by the way. And I think Mike probably said, listen, we've done all we can do here. It may be better for you to go on. It may be better for us. I think they both respectfully shook hands and said, we both agree on this. It's time for a new start. Andrew wants to get to the league. He tried it. He tested the waters last year. He tested the waters this year. He wants to get to the league. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Good for him. But I think it's time for the next guy. I'm like you, Hayes. I don't know if excited is the right word, but I think it's time. I think it's time for the next guy. And apparently the Appleby guy is really good. Apparently he averaged 17 a game at Cleveland State. Now, I know it's Cleveland State, but you average 17 a game. I mean, if they were getting a guy that averaged 17 a game at Florida Gulf Coast, you'd be pretty excited, right? And so
watch this math. That means if he scores 10 points, that means he's probably scoring 24 the next night. Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, I do. I
mean, so a 17-point average.
Hang on a second.
I think that's right.
You dropped a 7. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay,
so I mean that. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so absolutely. I mean, if you're scoring 17 a night, you've had some really good nights.
Yeah, and he's a really good 3-point shooter, and I think Mike White got to the point that it's time. Last year when he ran off all of them, Stone was gone and Ballard was gone and Okoro was gone. I think last year Mike White said, "I've had enough. I want to bring Stokes was gone. I want to bring in guys, better players." Well, this year bringing in better players meant still two guys, to Lauren's point, that don't play very fast in Blackshear and Nebhard. I think he's retooling again, and I think next year's team will be a fast. Man or no man, and I think Trey Man's probably going to come back, even though he's not ready to say that yet. I think he's probably coming back, but I think he is. He plays
he's
fast.
He's not ready for the NBA.
No, he's not. Glover plays fast. He plays fast.
Scotty Lewis plays fast.
He plays very fast, and Johnson, and apparently Appleby plays fast. Omar Payne, if they ever let him play, plays fast. So you got the impression it makes sense for both parties. This is a lot of times when you lose a guy, it's a gut punch. This one's, to your point, Hayes, it's not a gut punch. It's good for. I hope. And by the way, I will root for him. Where I like him, he's a good guy. He's an ex-Gator. Did you root for Will Guerrero when he left, or did you want him not to be good?
Oh, I rooted for him.
I did too. Did you?
I think I rooted for him not to be good because at that point Florida stunk.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready. Like,
I get it.
It's easier.
It's
easier. I think when your program is doing well.
Yeah.
To say, I hope he does well. But at the time, it was like, okay, this is the last thing that I want to see is Will Grier go win the Heisman for West Virginia, and Florida's going 4-8 every year. So no, I don't think I did cheer for Will Grier, but I will cheer for Nebhard because I think the Florida, I'm excited about this year's team, and I'll be really excited until Florida State beats them by 17, and then I'll be disgruntled for a month, and then eventually they'll bring me back.
Up 16 at the half,
right?
Okay.
That will happen. I do think it's a big year for Mike White. I think, obviously, we detailed the fire Mike White stuff last year. I thought that was ridiculous. However, I do think at this point, because he didn't have a chance for that team to be able to prove themselves when it came to the postseason, then I do think this coming year, though, regardless of what the preseason polls say, I think Gator fans are going to have higher expectations.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, at least in my mind –